Hey, it's simple, you're watching Thorin channel. Shut the fuck up, you fucking bitch.
Twistzz of Team Liquid is North America's best hope. Best hope for what, you might say? Best hope for everything, actually. To be the #1 team in the world, to win another major, and this time to actually do it as one of the favourites, not a team that's an outsider or a dark horse, to be potentially the best player in the world for North America, to have the #1 player in CSGO, to compete with all the top players. This is someone who I've now seen enough consistency out of him, and I've seen him do it at all levels, that I now think can be legitimately in the future as good as the very best Europeans. And the reason why that's so significant to say right now is I would say at the moment, just over the last 2 or 3 months, and at the very current moment, Twistzz is actually as good as a NiKo or a Device in terms of like raw skill level and ability to perform in the server. Sure, he might not have the same pure impact and important role within his teams as those squads do relative to them. But obviously at the moment, everything is mad skewed by the fact that Simple is not just the best player in the world, he's on track to become like the best player to ever play Counter-Strike. So that means no one can really be quite at his level at the moment. But even in the context of a world where we're all in Simple's shadow, Twistzz is one of the most promising names within his shadow, and one of the ones, whereas NiKo and Device, we kind of know their skill cap and where they're at as players. Twistzz potentially could actually improve even more and maybe even get to a Simple level, and that would have been unthinkable of me to think of past years. I mean, I know Simple himself wasn't as good in past years, so I might have thought that some of the top NA players could do it, but the current Simple, I don't think it's actually impossible for Twistzz to be that level of player. Remember, he's younger than Simple, he's more experienced than Simple. Sure, you're only going to get 1, maybe 2 Simple players in a lifetime, so I certainly wouldn't bet on him to get to that level. That's an outrageous level to expect, but he has the potential, unlike practically anyone else in the NA scene. This is a guy who can be the superstar carry to take Team Liquid to those big titles, and along the way go head to head with the best European players. Like, there was a classic scenario, it happens in the NFL, it happens in NBA, but I remember in Korean StarCraft Brood War towards the end when they had all the superstar players. It was a very competitive game. One of the best players in the team league was the player Jaedong, the Zerg player, and he was an incredibly deadly player, and famously he was amazing in Pro League as well, so it was so hard for any other player to go head to head with him, especially in ace matches. And one of the few players who could was the all-time great Protoss player Bisu, who was a specialist at VeXii and therefore could go ahead to say Jaedong's amazing ZVP. And he even told his team SK Telecom before a big Pro League playoff match, you know what, leave Jaedong to me, I'll take care of him, you guys take care of the other members, you do your job and I'll take care of Jaedong, I'm taking that responsibility. Twistzz can be that player, and he's even now showing signs of that type of mentality. I know from talking to him privately, that's what's kind of so exciting about him, and from hearing his public interviews. So crucially, yeah, we saw flashes last year, yeah, we saw the occasional match when he's in TSM or he's in Misfits that like said, oh, there's something here, but we didn't see it with consistency this year, not at this higher level, not in these big high pressure biggest games in the circuit until after the player break, when he's really put it on with a decent amount of consistency actually, except maybe the Epicenter semi-final. And this was, quite frankly, a key element that's been missing in the North American scene forever. They've never had a player who ever got to this overall level and who then took the next step. Like, I know previously I listed OllieJ obviously as North America's chosen one, but quite frankly, it's not that he couldn't do it. I think he could, just as within the Danish scene, I think Config and Magisk are the players who I expect to step forwards and take over the mantle one day of Dupree and Device. And just as Magisk was doing it originally, and then later it was Config the next year, we've seen OllieJ do it past years, including last year. Now it's Twistz's turn. And part of the reason why is just as Magisk is content to be just a good player in Australis and everyone else be, like someone like Device, be better and get the MVPs because he wants to win championships, he's a good teammate. Likewise, in the past, OllieJ was the star player. Twistzz was the one sitting back a little bit, just as when Magisk was going off. Config, it took him a little bit longer to get online in North. Well, the thing with OllieJ is it was all mentality with him. He basically turned his back on that role. I made that video in July of 2017. Now, after that period, yeah, we had a little good run for the guys in Team Liquid, but just as in the Star Wars mythos, it was supposed to be Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, who was the chosen one, who became Darth Vader and turned his back on that role. Likewise, you now have Twistzz, he's the Luke Skywalker, the next chance, a new hope, as it were, to be able to become the true one who balances the force, as it were, in this sense. In this case, to give some balance between the elite European players and the elite North American players, because OllieJ was supposed to be the guy who had the skill set to beat the Europeans, and he was beginning to. One of the reasons I got kind of suckered into thinking he'd do it is because I saw there was no other way his team could get to the top and win championships. And crucially, when he let Simple go from Team Liquid, when some of the others wanted him in the team, and some of the people in the org wanted to make an offer for Simple and keep him, one of the reasons why was he was willing to say, you know what, when they were like, well, how are we going to win without Simple? He was like, we'll do it because I'll carry. That mentality was very exciting to me. That's something I haven't heard and actually been able to believe from a North American player basically ever. Unfortunately, his mentality's since regressed. He's now just another player in Team Liquid. He doesn't put that pressure on himself. He doesn't take that responsibility. So he hasn't been able to break through beyond that. He's still a good player, just as Megaskin Astralis is a very good player. But he's not going to be the superstar player that North America needs to carry them out of there. I know you're going to think, what about guys like Stewie? Go back far enough, Tarek, or more recently, go back really far, JDM. They never really made it quite past that. They were always just good players. Like, they maybe got to the level at their absolute best of maybe what Config was in North. They never got close to what Simple and Device are now, or what Nico and I was. They were never at that level, stats-wise, impact-wise, carrying their teams deeper in tournaments-wise, being able to perform in big finals and semi-finals. They were just never able to do it. The closest you can basically get is Skadoodle in 2015, when they had that Cloud9 summer run, and he was an extremely good AWPer. Even then, he was a very good AWPer, but he wasn't always as dominant a player. Like, he couldn't just take over the whole game, in part because he's an AWPer and he didn't have an amazing rifle. Now, you could maybe make a case Hiko and Cloud9 end of 2013, mid 2014. He had flashes of being able to do this. I thought the Cloud9 could have got to the final of ESL 1 Cologne 2014, maybe even won it, and he would have been the MVP if they had done so, but it didn't happen. There are other talented North American pros, don't get me wrong. It's not like he's the only talent out there. But they're not as developed as Twistzz. They haven't shown the consistency, and they're not in a position to do it. Like, okay, Naf, the player within his team, is the guy who earlier this year took the mantle for OllieJ's best NA player. He has the talent to do it. I think he's got actually a better all-around skill set in terms of like ability to be versatile, but he doesn't have the mindset or attitude. His mindset seems to be very up and down. It can be broken. Sometimes it seems like he doesn't care and he tilts a bit. His attitude, I can't really tell if he wants to be the star player, if he takes that responsibility. You've got VeXii and NRG who's coming around. For me, Cirque has proved to be a little bit of fool's gold. He's a very good player, but he's not going to be a superstar on the level of the players I'm talking about from Europe. VeXii's starting to get more and more legit, and he's crucially having impact with his frags. Wardell's looking very promising on the lower level Ghost Gaming, but you're not going to get as far playing with Ghost Gaming probably. Probably has to keep going more ham and really make himself one of the best AWPers in the world. Problem is, none of these people though are near Twistzz level, or what he's done, or what he's accomplished. The closest is Naf, and a lot of that was earlier this year. So first and foremost, one reason I have a lot of hope regarding Twistzz is he's only just turned 19. And this guy was competing since he was 17. This reminds me of Simple in that sense, because they came on so quick once they got into real teams and once they got proper chances on LAN. And they got better and better and better year on year. They already got a very good level before, and then they didn't regress. They kept going better and better and better. And not only is he older in terms of age, he's starting to mature a bit. Unlike Simple, who took a year or two more and needed a bit more experience, actually Twistzz is doing it in an even faster time frame. Then you look, obviously, before we get into anything else, let's be real. Let's talk about raw skills. Because skills is going to give you the entry to potentially being a great player. If you don't have those skills, you're never going to be the best player in the world without insane skills. And Twistzz has unbelievable raw mechanical skills and understanding of technique as well. That's actually why he's the one who reminds me of an NA Simple in terms of raw skills. I thought, just as Megask in Europe with Dignitas, I thought OllieJ had a very strong skill set and a very consistent skill set and a high skill level, especially for an NA player. But Twistzz is separated from the other NA players. No one is on his level in terms of raw aim, crucially headshot aim, ability to track and place headshot flicks. Like, I also love the fact that much like a Simple and Nico, he plays for that. He's not a streaky player who does it just because it's the only chance to get a crazy round. He has very good aim, and he could shoot him in the chest like a lot of other NA pros, or just spam. But he really goes for those one-taps, those crucial, like, precision headshots that shows off that you have an insane confidence in your aim, and you're actually able to do it in the game. I'll also add in, as well as his amazing rifles, he is also a very good low econ player, which is key in the modern day CS, and I think going to be more key as the CT economy continues to be so fragile. Now, the reason why that's significant is he can do it with the Deagle, but he's not limited to it. His CZ is amazing as well. And why that is very, very important is because NA players, typically who are good low econ, Stewie 2K, Automatic, Tarek have tended to rely on the Deagle, and I think short an over-reliance on it. There's a reason the top European players, the top Astralis players, don't use the Deagle all the time as their low econ weapon. It's been a classic trend that goes back to 1.6. NA players loved the Deagle, where the top European players, top Swedish players, would stick with the USP, which was kind of, since there were no OP pistols really in 1.6, that was our equivalent of the best CT pistol, the CZ of Europe, as it were. Like, European players use the CZ typically. That's their weapon that they use, especially because, for my money, it has a better impact. Like, a lot of people like to use the Deagle long range. CZ, you use it up close, and then you potentially get guns from it, and you can win rounds. Deagle often takes more than one kill, more than one headshot to actually properly get guns and really make an impact on winning the round. So there's another crucial aspect. He's more in line with the Europeans in that sense. His performance so far has been really legit, very strong since the player break. Now he's really putting up the superstar numbers and having amazing impact, especially the ESL New York final. Even though they lost New York, that was not his fault at all. And for me, that was a big time coming out party to the level I've never seen from any North American pro ever in CSGO history. Because he played a full 5-map best of 5, and he was doing superstar, almost simple level numbers as an MVP, and really deserved to not only be the MVP of that tournament, but win that tournament at such a young age. What an amazing, I mean, he was only 18 at the time. What an amazing player. We've never seen that in a grand final on a massive stage from OllieJ, or from Twistzz in the past, or from Hiko, or from Scrilluminati. No, this was above and beyond anything. So this is a really exciting time to watch a player like Twistzz and see if he can develop more or maintain this form. He's also got a pretty good mentality, I have to say, from talking to him. I've been more and more impressed every time I talk to him. First of all, he understands the concept of a star role. Everyone who says like, there aren't star roles, we're all team players, that's fine if you are objectively a superstar and you're just saying that to make your teammates feel good and keep yourself humble. The people who say that, who are the guys who are younger, oftentimes they don't want to be thrust into the star role or have scrutiny of them. VeXii used to tell me this back in 2014, 2015. Don't call me a star, everyone's good in my team. You see now from 2015 TSM and Astralis in 2018, if VeXii is your best player and the rest of the team's really good and does their job, now you have a team that can be number one in the world and win championships. If he's just another player and they're like Team Liquid was 3 months ago with just doing it by committee, or they're like NRG is now, then no, or Mouse Sports, you're not going to be the number one team in the world. You're not going to win the major. You're not going to be a consistent world number one and potentially be the best team of all time. You're not going to do it because the elite superstar players really skew their teams that are already very good over the top and can consistently get them there. Also, crucially, early on, he understood it was OllieJ's team and he was willing to fall back and be a good player and figure out his role and try different aspects in the game. Because remember, initially, they had him something of more of a lurker on the outskirts, but he was a bit baity. Then they put him more with the entry pack. Now they've mixed him up in terms of what he does entirely. Like, he's been able to try these different styles out and they've found the best way to use him. Crucially for me, unlike OllieJ, unlike a lot of the other players, with the exception of maybe Hiko, he actually takes responsibility for poor play. This is a guy where when he plays badly, I don't mean just apologising to fans, I mean privately. I'll just go ahead and say this, like, he's the sort of person where if I was to meet him after a match, I might say to him, you know what, that was bullshit the way you played in that match. Like, you played average, or you just played okay, or your stats were good, but you didn't have impact, you didn't play aggressively enough, or you didn't take the fights you could, or your head wasn't in the game. The difference is, other people make excuses, or they say, yeah, okay, maybe you're right. He's the guy who says, yeah, no, and you know what, I'm going to change that, and that won't happen again, and it'll be different next time, and I learned from that, and I have a sense now of what I might need to do, and I'm going to try and work on things, and you know what, have you got any books I could read, or things I got? This is a guy who legit has a very good mentality in that sense. Finally, in terms of mentality, he has fucking confidence. This is a guy who at the face it major said Team Liquid would beat Astralis. Now they didn't, but I like the fact that he actually has that belief and can even dare to say it and therefore be potentially nailed against the wall and people meme or mock him for it. Because you go and you look at OllieJ, you can't get this guy to say they'll beat Fnatic, beat Astralis or win a massive grand final. You can't get Nitro to say that they're going to be the number one team in the world or they are the number one team in the world. Naf, in theory, can do it because he's so nonchalant. But then again, even there, it sounds so throwaway, like it doesn't mean as much to him. You don't know if he really believes it out of confidence. And he doesn't check the other boxes of star role, be having a great responsibility for poor play. I haven't seen Naf show responsibility for his poor play in that very aforementioned ESL New York final, where for my money, he was the main person who cost Team Liquid the championship. Then you look at the fact that the real cherry on the top that really secured this for my money from Twistzz is now he has not only age, the skill set, the mindset, he has very legit experience, the likes of which very few NA players in history have ever had. He has been in big grand finals with massive stage setups in 2017, loads of times in 2018. He's now been top 4 at a major and lost to the eventual champion. Previously, it was only OllieJ and Nitro who had the amazing experience in majors from NA. Remember, before Cloud9 won this major, the Boston major early this year, 4 of their 5 players had never been to the playoffs of a major, and Tarek had been once, gotten top 8, and then immediately gotten banged out by Team Liquid. So now he even has the legit major experience to start talking about he can do these things even in majors. He's also beaten elite teams in series and played well against Na'Vi a number of times. He's beaten FaZe Clan. This is a guy who, he's going to be facing a team like Astralis already, but he's going to be doing it again and again because we don't see them dropping off soon. I think that's great because they're going to be such a hard play, maybe the hardest team to ever play, that it's going to be character building. This could fast track this guy to being an even better player because they've been so dominant versus Team Liquid in terms of style and map pool overlap. They're a team that's amazing at shutting down superstars and making the game less individual. I'd compare them to like some of the great NFL defenses. You think of more recently of the Seahawks. When you go back 2 or 3 years, they were amazing at shutting down sick wide receivers and offenses, hence what they were able to do against the likes of the Broncos. Then you go and you look at like in the NBA, some of the really great zone defenses we've had, or when the Celtics were in their prime, talking like 10 years ago, how they could limit someone like Kobe. They couldn't shut him down entirely, but they could limit him and make sure he couldn't be the deciding factor in a game. This is some of the things that Astralis can do. So with someone like Twistzz being so close to exploding in as a supernova, a superstardom, I want to see him really go through the ringer against Astralis and see if he can be one of the guys. You know, people like Nico and Simple haven't always been able to do it. They have at times, but if he can be a guy who can join them and start to break that Astralis power, then this will be very exciting. And now Team Liquid maybe can start to get wins off Astralis. So I think this is a really exciting time because I've never seen a player as advanced as Twistzz in that area, with every factor aligning at the right time, with a consistent span of performance. Sure, he could now drop away, but if he can keep building on this, this is something for North America we have never seen before. This could be a true North American prodigy. This video was kindly supported by Andreas, Snazore, Westerlund, Dean Tanglis, Gardner Wilson, Landon Thompson, Tobias Bernasconi, OllieJ, NateDOhDoubleG, Kyla Harris, Travis Greb, Daniel Yordanov, James Harding, VeXii, Robert Baxter, Lucas Kerza Szczesny, and a special thanks, as always, goes out to my man, Jerky's Minion. Do you want to suggest a topic or a guest to feature in my upcoming content? Perhaps you want to ask me a question in my monthly AMA. Do you want teasers from my upcoming content? See who the next guests are going to be. Perhaps you'd like to take part in a discussion about esports with me. Well, any and all of the above exclusives are available for my patrons, so put your money where your mouth is and join the Scrilluminati today at the Patreon link below.